This is Smoking Out the Closet. Now, here are your hosts.
Hi, my name is Rayven. I use she, her pronouns.
I am Asmodeus. I use they, them pronouns.
Welcome back to another episode of Smoking Out the Closet. For those of you who are new or just joining us,
we are a queer podcast.
Pun intended.
That talks about cannabis,
the LGBT community,
and everything in between.
And beyond.
So welcome.
Welcome. And happy 2025, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Oh, so we did mostly for technological and scheduling and mental health. We took a break for December. It was our longest break, and I guess we're going to count it as like an in-between season thing, but we don't really do seasons. But we are rested and recharged. Do you want to talk about some of the stuff that happened while we were away for everybody to kind of give them all life updates real quick?
Sure.
So I started working. Should I say the name? Should I not say the name?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay. So I started working for a different cannabis company, and then I promptly quit that cannabis company because they were breaking federal labor laws. And as a veteran, I don't follow orders. I don't follow people who break the law. So I quit. Fortunately, I am getting enough through my VA rating that I could take care of basically all the rent and utilities all by myself with some extra cash. So I'm not working at the moment, and it's going to give me a lot more time to focus on the podcast. If you do want to support our podcast, we do have a Patreon. I am vamping up right now. I'll put the link in our show notes. We do have a few different ways you can kind of support us. I believe you can support via Spotify if you're into that, or spread word about our TikTok, our YouTube channel, and our podcast. Even spreading the word does do a lot for us. Nancy, is there anything you wanted to talk about while we were away for a bit?
No, I just hope that everybody had a good holiday and a good New Year, and everybody was safe while you were out. If you were out, there's a lot of crazy things that happened.
Oh yeah, like this neurovirus that came around.
Yeah, and like that horrible attack at it was at New Orleans.
Mm-hmm. A lot of things politically are also going around, but because that's some of my topic pieces. Before we go into it, let's talk about this strain that you picked up for us to review.
Yeah, so this was a sample that I had gotten, and it's from whole plants called Grandmaster Sexy. Unfortunately, it only came in 1 gram, but it's really good. I like it.
I mean, even just grinding it and putting it into a pipe usually doesn't get us pretty toasty when we share it.
We got pretty toasty. This is 24%. It also has 1.2% CBGA in it, which is nice. The top terps in here are limonene at 0.323, caryophyllene at 0.251, linalool at 0.183, and everything else is under 0.1%. It was tasty. It was nice.
It was real tasty. It was very... I don't want to say it was floral, but it was potpourri-esque.
Yes.
Is kind of what I would describe it as.
Yeah.
Because, like, potpourri's not always super florally.
No.
So I thought we could start this episode by talking about things we want to see in the new year, either for the LGBT community or cannabis, whatever fits under that. And then we can talk about some of the things we had that we saved from the last time we were supposed to record.
Yeah.
Do you want to go first? Do you have anything off the top of your head?
I wish we could I want to see adult use this year. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I want to see it in Pennsylvania.
Unfortunately, there is a bill, but it's like that thing we called it, like our first or second episode, where it's state-run only adult use, where the medical dispensaries can still be there. Mm-hmm. But if you want adult recreational use, you have to go through the state stores, which is stupid.
It really is.
I would also like to see adult use in more states, but yes, I would love to see it here in our state of Pennsylvania. Another thing I would like to see this year from the Democratic side of the aisle is actually just continued support for our community. After the election, a lot of them sadly threw us, especially the trans community, under the bus. And it's disappointing to see that. So I would really like to see more of them kind of coming back and actually standing up for what's right and actually having a spine.
Yeah.
Another thing I'd like to see is just some better fucking weed in this program. At least here in PA. Because, like, we were going up, things got cheaper. And I thought since Ascend was opening up locations in the Pittsburgh area, that would make it easier for us to be able to get cheaper weed. But no. Instead, it's just the same old, but now companies are just making boofier weed.
Yeah, I have noticed nothing has really been blowing me away recently in the program.
No, this whole plan is actually the first time in a few months I've had something that I really genuinely like.
Yeah, I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. It was really good.
Yeah, I gave it a 4.2 out of 5.
Nice.
Mostly just because the cure was a little but it wasn't terrible. And for what I've heard, it's a big improvement for whole plan.
Yeah, they also still have the glass containers.
Yeah, so. And it was just a gram.
Yeah,
I don't like gram samples. I'm sorry.
I don't either. Also, the packaging is like you glass container inside of a box.
Yeah, wasteful.
Have you seen the Dr. Solomon's tinctures? They're naked now. They're not in
boxes anymore. Yeah, but yeah, no, definitely would love. I totally forgot we didn't give her a review.
Yeah,
I'm so high. We had snacks after this. This gave us
munchies,
a raging case of the munchies,
and then we watched Mark play Bellaccio.
Bellaccio. So there's been a few things. It's going to be very trans heavy for me in this episode. So the NDAA, or the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2025, went through. And they made an amendment last second that not really a lot of people tried stopping, which would block gender-affirming care for any minors of service members. So basically, any service member currently serving or who is a retired that is using TRICARE, none of their minors can have any form of access for... TRICARE won't cover any sort of access for gender-affirming care in any sort of way.
That's irritating.
It is, and I actually fought a lot of people with this on my veteran TikTok. And one person was like, oh, it's just going for the surgeries. And I'm like, it's not, you idiots. Gender-affirming care starts with fucking therapy, first off. Second of all, there's not a whole lot that's really going on for most minors. Usually they get puberty blockers or... at 17 will maybe start HRT.
And they get a haircut, they go socially transition.
They change their wardrobe, they change their name.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a lot that isn't what people think gender affirming care is. And the thing is, it's really dumb too, is if you have a cisgender boy who gets top surgery because he has that, I can never remember that condition, but it creates like extra large pectoral muscles or makes it look like they have extra fat on their pecs, so they look like they have boobs. Getting rid of that is gender affirming care. What's going to happen to them now?
Yeah.
Like, these freaking politicians don't think of how it affects more than just the 0.6% of our entire country's demographic is trans, and they just think, oh my god, we gotta stop this thing because we're the fucking boogeyman right now, because they have nothing to actually, it's a scapegoat.
Yeah.
But another thing I think it is too is the fact that it's disappointing, because it was, when it was in the House, it was 80 Democratic House representatives who said, yes, this is okay. I called all of them fucking out. Because I'm not working. So I sat at home calling them, all of their offices. Then there was, I think, 8 or 10 senators who said yes and didn't challenge it. A lot of the ones who said no was because of the challenge. Now, there are some good sides to this bill. One of it is anyone who is an E4 or lower is going to get a pay raise in the military. That is good. That is good. I believe it's like a 14-15% pay raise, but that's really, really good, especially with, how things between when I served and now gotten way more fucking expensive.
Yeah.
So, can I continue with this trans thing? Because a lot of it is trans related.
Yeah.
So early December, it was like first or second week of December, after the whole Nancy Mace and getting Speaker Johnson, that rule about no trans people able to use the bathroom on Capitol Hill.
Yeah.
There was a shit-in, essentially. A bunch of trans people went to Capitol Hill and used the bathrooms for their proper gender.
Mm-hmm.
Like me going into the women's bathroom. And some of them got arrested. And it's very funny because technically they weren't breaking any law. The ruling is that nobody working in Capitol Hill is allowed to use the bathroom. This is a rule for those working in Capitol Hill. So the governors, the representatives. So technically they weren't breaking a law. But they were causing a nuisance. So that's why they got arrested, right? Because, peaceful protesting.
Yeah.
But Nancy Mace, the representative, I can't remember where she's a representative of it, but on my notes, she went outside the police precinct where the people who were arrested from that event, and used the T-slur and started reading the Miranda rights to people. I'm sorry, you're an elective official. Maybe you hold yourself with a little bit of fucking decorum.
Honestly.
First off. Second of all, nobody knew who you fucking were. Before this whole thing, did anybody know who fucking Nancy Mace was? She's doing this for clout.
Yeah.
That's all she's doing it for. And I feel like that's what most of these people are. They're doing it so they can get the most views on their social media pages, and they can actually get, the whole bullcrap and sneak rules into things that benefit them because they're rich, because they're basically using us as a distraction.
Yeah. 100%, honestly.
And so it's frustrating because of the fact that this is going on and our community is being attacked by this incoming administration. There's been a few that lost their lives because they're trans in the recent months. There was a lot of Nazi and Ku Klux Klan propaganda being put up in places because they feel emboldened because we have a felonious rapist in office. Felonious is, I believe it means he has felonies.
No, I know what that meant.
Oh, okay. Sorry, you're holding your thought, and I thought you were doing our D&D. I want to speak out of character.
No, I'm holding a thought.
All right, what's your thought?
Anybody who's friends with me on Facebook, I don't know if I've said this on the podcast yet, there was a Nazi on the Liberty Bridge. I don't know if we know who he is yet.
Oh, yeah, we're still on the hunt for him.
But we need to find him. Internet, do your thing.
But, it's really, really, really frustrating. Did you just take a hit of your disposable and it just spat on you?
I did. It spat hot juice in my mouth.
Ew. I'm keeping this on the podcast.
Yeah, okay.
I hate that for you.
That's kind of gross, I'm not gonna lie.
There was another trans thing I wanted to talk about. Oh, yeah. You know the lady on TikTok who does the I never thought the leopards would eat my face song? She just sits there with the ukulele and stitches Trump supporters finding out that the current administration is coming in does not actually have their best interests in mind. And she just sits there and goes, I never thought the leopards would eat my face. So I'm going to look it up and put it in the show notes, but I fucking love her. So she's been real busy, and she got a choir now with her to sing it. But this thing is that I don't get it. I got to this big argument on this one trans for Trump. It's a cis upper middle class at the lowest trans white girl. Did I say cis? I didn't mean to say cis. I said cis. She's a upper middle class white trans woman.
Mm-hmm.
For Trump, and she made a post saying, like, what's one thing that Trump's done that's against trans people? I'm like, okay, blocking us from the military, trying to do that for 4 years.
Yeah.
Saying that there's only 2 genders when that's affecting all of our... But then I knew what it is because she's the trans med, non-binary people don't exist, bullshit fucking kind of trans.
Ew, fuck you.
Yeah. And then I got, well, you're not trying to pass. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Did you have all your surgeries? Yeah. How early? A year? Oh, did daddy pay for all of that? First off, I don't even want all the surgeries. I had my one and only surgery. My face is very feminine already. It looks very much like my mom's.
Yes.
Okay? And my mom's a cis woman. The only thing I did was, mess with my boobies a little. Or as you like to call them, my boobies.
Well, yeah, you got them on Halloween, so they're your boobies.
But, like, that's the thing I don't think a lot of people understand is that crap. And I'm like, why are you... It's like the vets for Trump. Literally, they're talking about axing funding for veteran benefits, and this Economist post, which is, I'm sorry, very blatantly right-winged news article with Economist. Like, it's literally The Economist.
Mm-hmm.
And they're basically, oh, we're not left or right, but veterans get way too much benefits. And that pissed off every vet on both sides of the political scale. Like, every veteran was like, fucking excuse me?
Yeah, excuse the fuck?
So yeah, that's ugh. Can we just get rid of that shit in 2025? Can we just stop with that shit?
Yeah, exactly.
Stop with the transphobia. Stop with, actually work on trying to fix things. The Electoral College results were codifying today, and it pisses me off because they technically could have kicked Trump out with Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. He incited an insurrection exactly 4 years ago today.
Yes, as of recording.
As of recording in January 6th. Incited an insurrection that should bar him from running for president.
100%.
But the thing is, a lot of his supporters would be like, oh, no, it doesn't, because they tried that in Colorado, and the Supreme Court took it up to the case, and they said that, no, it doesn't block it, because he doesn't actually break the 14th Amendment. I'm like, hey, dumbass, did you actually read their response? They didn't say it broke the 14th Amendment. They said that no state can block a potential president from running for president. That's the big difference. They said they couldn't block him from being on the ballot. The implementation of the 14th Amendment, Section 3, is up to Congress and the Vice President when they codify the Electoral College results, which they did today, and nobody raised a stink about it. Yeah. And I think it's because they knew that, like, we all could see the MAGA rioting over that.
Yeah.
Because Kamala Harris is like, we need to secure a peaceful and successful transfer of power. I'm like, sure, but we're doing it to someone who's literally broke a rule in our Constitution that says we should not give him the authority.
Why is he the exception to the rule? He shouldn't be.
Because he's fucking rich. We're an oligarchy. That's all it is. We are a fucking oligarchy.
I don't understand how he's still rich after he bankrupted how many casinos. How
3.
much money does he actually still have anymore? Probably too much, but I know significantly less than he started out. Significantly less than he started out with during his first term.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the only silver lining with all of this, he can't do it again.
True, but I feel like he's going to try getting them to get rid of the 2-term rule.
Can he do that?
I mean, it'll take Congress and the Supreme Court. The problem is, a lot of the Supreme Court is corrupt and red right now.
Yeah.
Congress, however, can't do shit because they have a 2-person high majority. They have it in House and Senate, but at the House they only have 2 more people, so they need to do something like that. If I recall civics correctly, they need to have a 2/3 majority.
Yeah.
So that means they need to have all the Republicans and some Democrats to vote.
That's not.
It's not going to fucking happen. It's not going to fucking happen.
So I go back to my original silver lining.
We don't have to deal with this.
We don't have
fucking
to deal with
asshole
this shit
again.
ever again.
We're going to have to deal with all the echoes of his administration.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
But hopefully we can correct that down the line, and we are going to make it through this bullshit.
Yeah, because we can't have a country reset. A lot of other countries have done that. Some multiple times. France. But I don't want us to have a country reset. That's going to be rough on everybody. But hopefully, maybe, I don't know. It's going to be rough. I don't want to live through that.
Mm-mm. I'd like to stop living through historically significant events soon. Thank you.
That'd be great. Crap. What else? I know there's other stuff I want to talk about. Like, hopefully, not going into 2025, people will stop, or just we can do stuff. Like, there's just a lot of it is just these MAGA supporters are stupid, and like this podcast is technically apolitical. We are very left leaning, but the problem is MAGA is stupid. I'm not against Republicans. I'm against MAGA.
MAGA is stupid, yes.
Shrimp is bugs, MAGA is stupid.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I was just like, and like, if you're listening to our podcast and you're for weed and for the LGBT community, you probably have the same sentiments we do.
Honestly.
And if you don't, why the fuck are you listening to us?
Exactly. Unless you're one of those people who just like to get angry. And that's why you seek us out, is because we're the opposite of what you believe in and it makes you angry.
We're your rage bait.
Rage porn. A murder action.
Why?
I don't know. My brain just went down some little trail.
Oh, I do want to say, I do hope that our audio quality is getting better. That is something I'm hoping for 2025, is because now we're getting the audio sound foamy acoustic thingy, so we shouldn't have as much echo stuff.
We got some of them put up. We got some of our stuff put up on the wall in the studio. I put some weatherproofing tape up. See, it's a little warmer in here.
Yeah, because this room was always freaking cold.
Mm-hmm. There's actually no heating vent in this room.
Yeah, it's fun.
It was originally supposed to have wood stove in here. That's why that hole's in the wall.
Oh.
That's a chimney beside the closet right there.
Oh. This is an old house.
It's a very old house.
It's over
what did I say?
1905, 1910.
Yeah.
Is your guess?
Yeah. I think I was looking at like the property things online.
Mm-hmm.
The listing, when it was originally sold,
yeah.
The people who manage it now.
But yeah, it's gonna be a crazy year. I can already see it. It's gonna be a fucking nuts year.
Yeah. The next 4 years are gonna be nuts.
Honestly. And also, okay, here's one thing that I don't get. We got a couple of seconds, or a couple of minutes before we go on a break, and I do want to talk about this a little bit, because this is our fucking podcast. We can talk about this shit. It's everything in between and beyond. A lot of them were going after the fact that we don't want these rich people running the country who have, back dealings and are controlled by the stock. Literally every pick of Trump's cabinet are exactly that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also a little worried what's going to happen to veteran benefit. The VA is definitely separate from the military, but him saying that the government's only going to officially recognize 2 genders makes me worried what's going to happen down the road,
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of bad things happen, because my therapist was saying that the VA anything that happens takes years to go into effect, and sometimes even before it goes into actual effect, you can stop it.
Yeah.
So, who knows? Is there anything you would hope for 2025 before we go on a break?
I'm just going to try to stay optimistic this year, too. Make the best out of it. Whatever comes our way.
Just more weed. Let's just some positive things that we want to, because we got like 4 minutes left. Some positive things. Better weed.
Better weed.
Adult use.
Yep.
Better edibles.
Yes.
Better pizza.
Better pizza.
I have such a craving for pizza right now.
That does sound really good.
If it wasn't 5 inches of snow on the roads right now.
And cold as fuck out there.
Right? What else? Oh my god. New York Pride. We should try seeing if we can go to New York Pride.
I would love to go to New York Pride.
Because that should be something we should do with the podcast. Bring all the podcast equipment with us.
Yes.
And record it in our hotel room.
Yes. And go to New York Pride.
And go to New York Pride to talk about that. That'd be awesome.
Hell yeah.
It's definitely not table in New York Pride. That is going to be A, hectic, 2, crazy, 3, no spoons for anything.
Yeah.
And expensive.
Oh yeah.
Definitely another year at the Pittsburgh Cannabis Festival.
Yes.
More trips to other states to try their stuff. Getting big enough with the podcast that we can just live. I'm going to say this, between this podcast and my Rainbow Veteran podcast, which go listen to the Rainbow Veteran podcast, is on Spotify and YouTube under the Rainbow Veteran. That we can live just off of our podcasts. That'd be great.
That would be awesome.
That would be amazing. Also, we got space on this wall. Why don't we get fan art?
That would be cool.
If anybody wants to do some fan art of us, or Buds, or our podcast mascot, or whatever, like, we will put it on our wall. Because I think that'd be cute. We just got some stuff. Like, the only thing that we have that's art in this room is a painting my sister, my little 14-year-old sister, made of you and me, Ezzy.
So freaking cute.
It is. It is really cute. I just think it's funny she made my hair dark brown.
Yeah.
But, is there anything you want to add before break?
No, I don't think so.
No. All right. We're going to go on a break and talk about our merch stuff with Big Cartel. And then we'll be back after that message. Hey, everybody. It's Rayven from Smoking Out the Closet. Real fast, I just wanted to talk about the fact that our podcast now officially has a merch store. So we're going through Big Cartel for print on demand, and these products will change from time to time. But right now, we have an emotional support products between a crossbody bag, a t-shirt, beanie, and a patch, and we have our podcast mug available in 2 different sizes as well. So if you're interested in supporting our show, or just want some really cool swag, head over to smokingoutthecloset.bigcartel.com and grab some stuff from us. Alrighty, we are back, and Azzy has a little cue you up. A little fun psychological thing that you think helps dispensary workers.
Yeah, so this has been a joke with all the people that I work with since the 2 years that I started there ago. It's like, oh, I'm looking for something and I can't find it, and it's right in front of my face. But then you go, oh, hey, I would lean over to one of my coworkers and go, can you find the lemon kush? And then as soon as that comes out of my mouth, I find it on the shelf. And I'm like, I wonder if there's anything actually to it, right? Well, that if there's anything psychological, or I was just like, I would always make a joke of like, oh, you say its name and it just pops out at you, right? Well, there's actually a thing. There was a thing from the Quarterly Journal of Experimental Psychology. It is called a self-directed speech affects visual search performance. And it also goes into why you talk to yourself while you're alone and while it's a normal way of your brain processing things.
That's not autism?
No, that's just the way your brain works. So in the beginning of this, it gives you a little, I can't remember what the fuck it's called. It's basically a little synopsis about the whole thing. So it's like a TLDR, but more technical.
Mm-hmm.
It says people often talk to themselves, yet very little is known about the functions of this self-directed speech. We explore effects of self-directed speech on visual processing by using a visual search task. According to the label feedback hypothesis, verbal labels can change ongoing perceptual processing. For example, actually hearing chair compared to thinking about a chair can temporarily make the visual system a better quote-unquote chair detector. Participants search for common objects while being sometimes asked to speak the target's name aloud. Speaking facilitated the search, particularly when there were strong associations between the name and the visual target. As the discrepancy between the name and the target increased, speaking began to impair performance, though the results speak to the power of words to modulate ongoing visual processing. And I read the first little bit about this, and it seems like it's because of the way we learn language and how we tie images to words that our brain also does that while we're looking for things. Because you usually visualize the thing you're looking for so you can spot it. And then when you say it, you might have said, oh, well, like whenever... So the classic thing, when you're learning the alphabet, right? A, apple. And you associate that together, right? So it's like in your brain, maybe whenever you were trying to pronounce something or you're learning like, so what's something like that, like if you remember the bed trick, like the word bed looks like a bed. And then you'd be like, oh, well, that's what your brain ties or brings up that image. Yeah. So it helps process if there's a strong association there already from either learning the thing or learning the name of it or some sort of mnemonic memory device. But
because like I do that with scissors whenever I'm looking for scissors.
Yeah, you motion.
Yeah, I do. I use my index, and you're like audience can't see. But like my index and middle finger, I just act like are the two blades of the scissors, and I'm like, where are the scissors at?
And then you find them. Yeah,
because like someone told me that's a common autistic trait. Is like having like a physical version of that.
Interesting.
I'm not. I could be wrong, but this person is also diagnosed with it. So I was like, I'm just kind of parroting what they said.
Yeah.
Phineas. But like, because like that, I know I do that at work or at my old job. When I was working for the first dispensary. I would do that, and then I would mumble scissors, and someone would go, "You looking for the scissors? They're right here." I'm like, ah. The universe manifested it for me because I'm doing the little scissor fingers.
There's also the thing that goes back to like, I can't remember if it was actually a study about it, but how I tell you like, hey, remind me, I need to remember to.
Oh, like what we try to do, like, hey, remind me, I gotta call the endo office and the VA, and you're like, oh, okay, and then I remember to do it.
Yeah, because you told me to remind you, and if I don't remember, maybe you will because you remember telling me about it.
Doesn't work when you have brain damage.
Yeah.
Because I forgot.
I forgot until today, and then I texted you, and I was like, oh, I don't know, I can't tell you what triggered it. No idea. But yeah, so, like, working out problems, talking to yourself, stuff like that. Since it's pretty cool how your freaking brain works.
Yeah.
Like that.
And I do know your brain gets really bored easily, too. So, like, having something to kind of try narrowing the focus in some way to keep it on alert could kind of help. Because we've talked about this before. Like, sometimes just smoking in a different room or smoking with different people, but you have the same strain will hit you. Yeah. Like it used to. Your brain's not bored of it.
Exactly. That's something I was talking to my therapist about today, too. How writing helps you process feelings. It's the same thing. Your brain is using more parts of your brain are being activated. Like when you're physically writing, you have the motion of what your hand's doing. You're focused on the writing and how the paper feels and what you're trying to craft the sentence and how you feel about that thing and how to put it into words, right? And there's a lot of places in your brain that are lighting up and you have more neural links between them. So it's a stronger association. So when you go back to try to figure that thing out, you're like, okay, everything. You kind of made those associations and paths in your brain and you now know what to do. And I feel like that's the same kind of thing that's going on with, like, when you speak the name of something that you associate with that word, or if you have a strong visual component to it, right? Because it did say if you don't have a strong association with the thing, you're going to confuse yourself even more. Because if you're like, oh, well, I need a It's this really random fucking thing that I think I should know what it is, but I don't. Like a... I don't know. I'm trying to think of something.
Blue Dreams and Indica. That's got the name Dream in it. You think it's an indica.
I think. Like some kind of object. Like a yucca plant. I know what a yucca plant is. I kind of know what it looks like, but I couldn't pick one out if I'm like out in the wild and without a reference. Like if I would say I'm looking for a yucca, that wouldn't help me because my brain doesn't know exactly what it looks like.
Is it yucca? I always thought it was yucca.
I've always pronounced it yucca.
Someone who's a linguist.
Yeah, I also was raised around Pennsylvania Dutch, and they pronounce shit real weird. So
I've only seen it pronounced in Red Dead Redemption. That's the only reason why I would know.
Yeah, but if that's something your brain commonly would like confuse with something else, trying to say that out loud to find it would really help.
Yeah.
I just thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, that is really interesting, and I hope anyone who works in a dispensary who listens to our show would actually use that, because that'd be great. It'd probably help with inventory counting.
Oh, absolutely. If you're like, hey, I can't find the Citrus Daydream, and you're like, oh, well, wait, there it is. It's
London Fog. There it is.
Oh, I could go for a London Fog.
Like the drink or the strain?
The drink. You know what they are, right?
What is it? It's black tea, milk, some kind of liquor.
No, it doesn't have liquor in it.
What is it?
It's just a tea brewed in hot milk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a London Fog. Instead of brewing the tea in water, you brew it in hot milk. It's usually a black tea or a Earl Grey, but you can really do it with anything.
You do
You could, yeah, lavender, a lavender London Fog.
Oh, okay, so this is something actually I do want to add to our list of things to do in 2025. I want to do a tea and/or coffee pairing with strains.
Yes.
Because we've been, since I got Azzy a Christmas gift, thanks to having access to the commissaries and PXs again, the exchanges, I was able to order on the Army Exchanges or the AAFES, or the Army Air Force Exchanges. I can't remember what you guys' acronym is. Any hoodle, here's a strudel. I was able to order you a 7-in-1 coffee brewer because you already have an espresso maker, but we don't have a way to make multiple cups of coffee in one go.
Yeah.
Until now.
Oh, and I was like, well, we could get a coffee pot. And you were like, no. You 1-upped. You made it, no, you 7-upped. Because you, not the soda.
Heads up, 7-up.
But you upped and upped because now we have the little coffee espresso bar, right? The espresso and the milk steamer. But now we have, it acts like a drip coffee pot. And then the thing comes out and you can make it a pour over. And then you can also have the little thing in there and make it cold brew. And then there's also a thing you can make it for French press. French press. It's great.
Subway bench press.
Oh, and iced coffee. You can throw ice in your carafe and make it iced coffee. But what I did earlier is just let the
coffee cool and then put ice in it. Hey, but I made it that way. So what I did was splash out milk, sugar, and then mix it up. I thought about putting the off-brand chocolate syrup that we have.
It was so good. You make such good coffee.
But imagine pairing coffee and strains together with that. Or tea, or both. I feel like that would be a good time because someone in this household, because we usually get a little more drink happy around the holidays, has been getting crossfaded a lot lately.
Yeah, that's weird.
And having their wife judge them for it very, very, very much.
Really?
No, not really in a bad way. I'm just more of no. Because I can't do it.
You can't do it. No. I'm just like, I enjoy this.
It's one or the other. I can't do both. I learned that in college.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it's my turn for my other topic.
No, like an Irish coffee with like a wedding cake joint.
Oh, okay, yeah. Let's talk about some strain combinations we could do. Okay, so we have a Black Rifle Coffee Company's subscription. So right now it's vanilla and hazelnut, but I can always change the flavors if I want. But we also have the mint invaders and atomic apple from Bones Coffee. The atomic apple's the Fallout one. So, ooh, okay. So if you mix the vanilla coffee, because we do 2 scoops for our 3-cup thing, drip pour.
I think it's technically 7 cups, but it's 3 of our mugs.
Yeah, 3 of our mugs. So it's 1 scoop vanilla, 1 scoop of the atomic apple makes it apple pie a la mode, right?
Yes.
Or what I'm calling apple pie a la mode. You pair that with the sweet apple crumble strain.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh. The vanilla would go great. I feel like with any... I feel like it would actually go great with this...
Grandmaster Sexy?
Yeah, that one.
I feel like it would, the Samoa would be good with the Lip Smacker from Kind.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're both very tasty, very intricate flavors. I feel like they complement each other well.
I feel like hazelnut would go great with blue Afghani, because blue Afghani is just a rename of blueberry muffins.
Yes.
Or the banana muffin one.
Banana.
Okay, so what Azzy is referencing there was this translated series, it's like quick 5-minute episodes of like this cat banana thing.
It's the cat who lives in a banana.
Called Banana. It's a Japanese show. They got translated, and we watched it high as a kite.
In like a day.
In like a few hours, and it was great. It was great to just sit there with a bong or a pipe or a joint.
So cute and colorful.
Watching it.
Yeah.
That's the thing though. Like I noticed, like some people watch like when they get really blitzed, they'll watch the kids' sensory things with like the dancing little fruit with the faces on there, and I'm like, why? But also, why do I want to try it?
That's like I was playing Candy Crush. Well, this might be a little TMI. I had my vape, and I was on the toilet, and I was taking a poop, and I was vaping, and I was playing Candy Crush, and it's just like, the weed and the Candy Crush, and I'm just chilling, I think I shut the door. I think I shut the door so the cats...
Sugar Crush.
Delicious.
Unbelievable.
Sugar Star. And then I came downstairs and was like, Rayven, I have the bonus thing, the white chocolate covered candy truffle, whatever the fuck.
The thing that looks like a Ferrero Rocher, and I was just sitting there going, Are you going to say Ferrero Rocher, or are you going to say the thing from Jimmy Neutron?
Yeah. Those look like they had a baby, because it's like... It looks like a Ferrero Rocher if it had the multicolored pieces from the Jimmy Neutron thing, but then the special one that they got for a half an hour had like chocolate dribble on the top. Yeah. And I want to eat it. Like, they need to make those. I would buy those. Talk about unnecessary mobile game merchandise. Candy. The Candy Crush branded candy. I could probably look for that, or someone would probably come up with it, or there's like a DIY at-home spoof recipe, like how they made the cake from fucking Portal, but not disgusting.
Oh, I thought you were going to say from Minecraft.
That too, the Minecraft cake.
We need a binging for Babish, but with video games.
Yes, please.
Now I'm just thinking of what would go good with like a lavender-based London Fog strain.
Mm-hmm.
What's the one that I said tastes like modified grapes?
Modified grapes is good.
Alright, so before we get sucked down that rabbit hole, because we could probably sit there for hours just going, this one. This one. Be like the Skakey from, or I think that's what they're called, the Skakeys from Dark Crystal.
The face you made was cute.
Well, it was like I was trying to make the face the puppet does. Because that's another Jim Henson movie.
I don't think I've ever watched it.
I need to change that. I need to change that right now.
Okay.
So this is old news, December 9th, but the article from Reuters is Walmart job applicant can't sue under New Jersey cannabis bias law. So it's on December 9th, but a divided U.S. appeal court on Monday said a New Jersey law barring employment discrimination against cannabis users does not allow for private lawsuits, and a tossed-out proposed claim action lawsuit against Walmart. So basically, if I'm reading this right, it's, oh, hey, we're going to give you worker protection because you are using cannabis. You cannot be barred from hiring or you can't lose your job on the basis of your consumption of cannabis outside of work, right?
Yeah.
So what do you do when they break it? Usually how you do that is lawsuits. So what's the freaking point of the anti-bias law? Right?
Yeah.
It makes no sense, New Jersey. Like, what the fuck? Then again, a lot of things don't make sense from New Jersey. That's how we got Snooki.
It's New Jersey. That's just all you need to know.
I'm sorry. A lot of people can hate me for that. A lot of queers already do in my personal circle. I hated the Jersey Shore, and I hate everyone on it. No, I don't really hate. I just don't want them in my universe.
It was just obnoxious. That's what that show was. It was just obnoxious. It was that aughts band of television of, like, quote-unquote reality shows.
MTV.
It was so obnoxious.
It was the late odds MTV era. And that was it. That was the worst part. That was MTV's doing. So basically, coming back to the article, as we bash freaking Jersey Shore, the Philadelphia-based third U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in a 2-1 ruling said that because the state law approved by voters in 2020 did not create any remedies for workers who sue for violations, the legislature must have intended to leave enforcement to the state alone. Quote, the lack of express remedy is better understood as a deliberate choice not to provide a remedy rather than an oversight of an intended remedy, Circuit Judge Peter Phipps wrote. That is such a fucking cop-out.
Yeah.
It is basically saying, oh, well, because there's no way for them to sue, then it's just basically the state. Okay, sure. How do you report them to the state? There's nothing. As of right now, as of me looking at it last month, there is not anything saying that, hey, this is how you do it if someone's breaking that rule. There's nothing. So what do? Call the cops? They ain't gonna do shit.
No.
The only way you can make, and I'm talking to a union boy right now, the only way, I feel like this episode is very much what we started the podcast with, because this is very much like our car conversations.
Yes.
The only way these companies can have anything come out is usually what? Lawsuits.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's either the regular people suing them, or it's a union suing them.
Mm-hmm.
Very rarely is it the state. Sometimes it is, but it's super rare. And more often than not, because all these freaking politicians are in the back pocket of companies, they're not going to do shit. No. So, Union Boy, what's the remedy for this? How can we fix this? Come on, Union Boy, I want to hear your thoughts. Come on. You're going for you.
I feel like I'm on the spot. So give me a little synopsis on I'm sorry, my brain went.
Oh, it's okay. Okay, so basically, because the law that was voted in 2020 did not have a way for civilians to sue, basically saying that, oh, you can't sue them because of it, that the state is supposed to basically go after these companies that go and break the rules.
Well,
but the problem is the legislation didn't say they couldn't sue. It just didn't say they could or couldn't.
I mean, if the state's allowed to go after them, and then at that point, you, as a taxpayer, need to go to your state representatives and say, hey, this is something that's a concern. This is something that's a problem of mine. Because if enough of you people go to your state representative and say, hey, this is my concern, that's why they literally are there. Call them, tell them what your problems are. Then hopefully at that point you can have them do something. Or you can have your union, or you can have,
Walmart having a union. That's rich.
You can try to have a union come in, and then they can try and fix the situation. But the Walmart's never going to let that fucking happen.
Because we big upset with Walmart right now, personally.
No, yeah, absolutely. Fuck Walmart. 6 ways from Sunday. They're like, oh, we're going to make it as expensive as Target. And it's like, it's because we're getting theft. It's like, well, you're raising your prices on shit. Guess what?
Yeah, with all that record profits you had? Okay.
Yeah.
But they can't pay for proper heating equipment. I'm going to go on a little Walmart tirade real quick. 2 different Walmarts in our area. One had the coolers malfunction, so the chicken all in one big row. Imagine this the entire section of chicken in your Walmart.
Mm.
They all started to bloat on the inside because botulism started, because the chicken got too warm for too long, and this freaking butcher was putting stuff in the beef section and looked at it and then said nothing. So I went and found a floor manager and told them. Because I'm like, look, your fucking coolers are not serve safe. You're going to have to throw out tons of chicken. And guess what?
Smelled.
It was on the news, and they had to throw out shopping carts full.
And I'm telling you, you were in so the way this Walmart in particular is set up. You go in and you have your grocery, and then on that left-hand wall, that's where that tree cooler was. If you keep going straight, you get into the dry goods. Going down that main aisle, you have your clothes on the right-hand side. You can smell the chicken from there.
Yeah, you can smell it when you walk in. It doesn't matter where.
It doesn't matter where you were. You could be over by the pharmacy, and you could still kind of smell it coming from over by the fucking vegetables.
And the thing is, how could no one from other departments not smell it? Because we could smell it.
Yeah, it was terrible. And then the other Walmart we went into,
the AC broke.
The AC broke. Middle of fucking summer was the hottest week of the year, and we went in. I don't remember what the hell we went in for, but it was the one that was
quick and small real fast. I think we were looking for flip flops for our camping trip. No. That was way too early for our camping trip.
It was something. Anyway, we went in, and it was like, oh, God, it's sticky and warm in here.
Yeah.
And I was looking. Did I look at the chocolate or something? And I was like,
yeah, all the chocolate
was melting, and you could poke it, and it was just goopy. And I was like, oh, the fruit, that's what it was. I was like, something smells.
Yeah, the fruit was turning,
and it was turning over ripe because it was so hot in the store. It was disgusting. And then you could hear the employees talking about how the air conditioner went out, and I was like, yeah, that explains it.
Yeah,
fixing this, and that's also where it comes in with. Oh, there should be an OSHA regulation, which goes into that they do what's called a wet bulb test, which is it takes the humidity and the temperature of the environment, and if it doesn't allow the condensation on the light bulb, which basically acts like the sweat on your skin, if it doesn't evaporate within a certain amount of time, it's considered a higher risk for heat stroke.
Oh, that building was the giant concrete building.
Yeah,
it's a basic greenhouse building because they have those sunlight windows on the roof.
Mm-hmm. But that is also a hard thing to say. Hey, it is excessive amounts of heat, because that's what they would have to do is come in and set up the wet bulb test. You have to get a hold of them. And my recent fucking brush with Allegheny County OSHA has been terrible, and I hope the person that I talked to has been removed from his position, because he didn't want to do his fucking job either. And then he blamed the union for not doing anything when the union told me to get a hold of him. Yeah, he's just a fucking. I feel like there's a lot of people in places where they don't want to be, and if you don't want to be there, have somebody be there to do the thing that they want to do. Because I will do your fucking job.
Oh my gosh!
Paid well. Can we for the county?
Every freaking civilian that interacts with military personnel. Like that one guy we were trying to get on Fort Little Creek in Virginia.
Yeah.
That attitude, imagine that everywhere you go. From the moment you go to the basic. Some people in fucking MEPS, before you even get in the military, treat you like fucking shit. Thank you. Now I have a new topic for my veteran podcast. The shit civilians who work with the military do. Again, listen to the Rainbow Veteran Podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. I just recorded episodes 2 and 3. I'm going to edit them real soon. Listen. That is pretty much it. The article goes more in depth, but we pretty much just talked about it. Is there anything you want to add before we end the episode today?
I had a terrible joke to hear.
Oh, always.
In depth, Johnny Depp. Ha ha.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the last episode of Spoken Out of the Closet ever. You will never see Asmodeus online ever again. I'm just going to turn this into a solo podcast, or we're going to just end it here.
Podcast out.
All jokes aside, I'm probably editing this part out anyway.
That was a terrible joke. Nobody else needs to hear that.
But yeah, I don't have anything else for this episode if you don't.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, this has been Smoking Out of the Closet. My name is Rayven. I use she, her pronouns.
I'm Asmodeus. I use they, them pronouns.
And... Fuck, how do we end this episode?
I'll see you all in the next episode.
Bye!
See ya.